Heisei Generations Final. The movie has been complicated when it comes to continuity placement, and I'm here to solve it. Hey guys, it's Baron, and in today's episode of Tokuthology, I'm going to try my best to clear up the time frame on where Heisei Generations Final takes place in. Heisei Generations Final is just going to be one of those films that are kind of difficult when it comes to continuity. I mean, it is canon, but the timeline is more complicated than it seems. Before we start, we better get some terms out. There are two Earths that appear in this movie, World of Heisei and World of Build. Heisei's world is basically the main continuity of Kamen Rider, where nearly all installments of the franchise take place in. For this video, we'll call the main continuity by this name as it was promoted by this name, but do not confuse it as its AR world. Build's world is an independent reality in a timeline where Skywall has reached Japan, splitting the country into 3 states, and where the events of Kamen Rider Build takes place in. Let's start off with Heisei. Where does he fit into the timeline? In Heisei Generations Final, it is 2018 in Heisei's world, and here's why. In Heisei's summer movie, True Ending, the entire mid-credits sequence takes place 1 year after the events of the series, as confirmed by producer Takehito Omori. Also in the mid-credits, behind Kirya is a whiteboard that confirms it takes place in September of 2018. So Heisei's world takes place in 2018, and Heisei Generations Final takes place a week after True Ending's post-credits. For Build's world, it simply takes place in December 2017. 2 years ago in Build's world, Takumi Katsuragi, the Kamen Rider Build from 2015, traveled to Heisei's world where it had in 2018 and absorbed Heisei's essence, causing Emu to lose his ability to transform to Heisei. Peridot followed after Katsuragi, and both were sucked into Build's world, where Peridot was stuck there for 2 years, while in Heisei's world time, it had been a week since he disappeared. Okay, let's set up a timeline to organize everything. Starting on Build's world is 2015. Takumi Katsuragi traveled to Heisei's world on 2 occasions. The first occasion is when he went there when it was August of 2017 there, because that's when the Game Days arc was stated to take place in. He mistakes him for Heisei after accidentally killing him and leaves. Katsuragi attempts a second time and went back to Heisei's world when it was September of 2018 there, and successfully absorbs Heisei's essence. He goes back to his world, only for Peridot to follow after him and leaving him stuck in Build's world for 2 years. 2 years later, Sento Kiryu is Kamen Rider Build and begins his story at late 2017. Heisei Generations Final should take place in between episode 14 and 15 of Build, and episode 16 was a Christmas episode. So we roughly place the movie in December 2017. In that month, Peridot manages to find Build. He makes contact with Emu via the game Full Ball and discovered it has been a week in Heisei's world since he had disappeared. The dates in this timeline are scattered since both worlds run at different time flows, only to nearly align when the Enigma is activated. Let's talk about Heisei. Now, Heisei's inclusion in Heisei Generations Final is a complete mess. In Heisei's section of the movie War Ultimatum, which supposedly took 5 years after the show ended, Gentro destroyed his Heisei driver, no longer able to become Kamen Rider again. The show ended in 2012. I also need to mention that the assistant director of Heisei Generations Final admitted that he forgot that the Heisei driver was destroyed. But luckily, the movie was treated to take place a day before Heisei's section in Ultimatum. But here's the problem. If Heisei ended in 2012, and his segment in Ultimatum took place 5 years after the series, then it would take place in 2017, right? But the problems doesn't start there. Gentro's classroom board reads Monday, November 20th, which is in 2017, but Heisei Generations Final is confirmed to take place right before Ultimatum, along with the fact that Yuki's in space and Honestly, I find this similar to the case of Drive's epilogue, where it took place before Takeru's murder and debuted as Ghost. Drive's epilogue was confirmed to have happened, but I guess there's a couple of theories I could make out of this situation. We can assume either Toei retconned Heisei's section to take place after Heisei Generations Final, or it supposedly falls after the novel's events that took place a couple months after, which would be 2013. Heisei is basically an anomaly when it comes to placing him in this timeline, so those are my best possible answers currently. Finally, how about that post-credit scene featuring Grease? For Build, Heisei Generations Final is confirmed to take place in between episode 14 and episode 15. But in episode 15, that's the same episode where it introduces us to the Splash Driver and Evolto stealing the data. We later get introduced to Greece in episode 16, so how does that work? Well, it's easy. Post-credit scenes don't need to take place directly after the movie, it could take place a long time after the movie's events, just like what True Ending did. That's why we can presume Greece taking the Phoenix and Robot Balls took place after the events of episode 15, but before episode 17, before the Hokuto invasion. With O's, Gaim, and Ghost being self-explanatory, I guess we're done. This movie is complicated when it comes to continuity, and I think we're finally finished with the timeline of Heisei Generation's final. This chart above shows the complete line of events happening in the movie's time frame. Special thanks for Destiny Shin for sharing me these details and dates. This video would have been precisely accurate if it wasn't for him. I hope this video has made sense on the timeline leading around the events of Heisei Generation's final. Please comment if you have any more questions, give this video a like, and subscribe for more videos like this. I'm Baron, and I'm signing out.